I know of a lot of people over the years who have lived to defend the innocent unborn, but my cousin Rosalie died to defend the innocent unborn. With regard to Dr. Carson has raised millions of dollars for pregnancy crisis clinics around the country. He defended his colleagues when they refused to do abortions at Johns Hopkins University as a matter of conscience. He has, gotten out and made public statements, including that saying that you're personally against abortion, but people can terminate their children at their discretion is not a moral position, and that the country would be in a heck of a shape if the position that I'm personally opposed to slavery, but it's a personal choice to own one, had become had won the day 150, 160 years ago. A Carson candidacy will be a pro-life candidacy, and he will be a pro-life president, and will not pull punches. And the most emotional index or indicator of that is the Putnam County GOP had a fundraiser where Dr. Carson was speaking, and after he finished, a woman who was middle-aged and a younger woman in her 20s stood up and said that I want everybody to know that my daughter in utero was diagnosed with severe brain problems, and every physician that I talked to told me to kill my baby, and except one. And Dr. Carson said that I believe I can help your baby, and that we can deal with this. And the baby, 24 years later, was standing next to her, and she said that she wanted to thank Dr. Carson because he didn't let them throw away my baby like a broken rag doll.
Well, that's the kind of story that I think, and we think, at Conservative Voice of the People, that the country needs to hear, because so many of our Republican, conservative, political people don't seem to have the courage to stand up and do that. So it's heartening to hear you speak on that issue in that way. I don't want to take up too... Yeah, go right ahead.
I wanted to emphasize something that I just recently included when I get up and speak about Dr. Carson for 5 minutes. I want everybody to understand that the guy has courage. He has courage to speak to his conviction. And you think about it, he was the top pediatric neurosurgeon in the country. He had a 100% approval rating, except for a couple of homosexual activists. And he, was on corporate boards, he had a very long life. He could have just traveled the world, studied foreign languages, had a great time with his wife in retirement. And what he did instead was put it all on the line, potentially losing it all by attacking the emperor and telling him he had no clothes, telling him that Obamacare is about controlling the people, and totally changes the relationship of the American people with their government. That political correctness is tearing the country apart. That the opportunities that he had to rise from the bottom of his class to the top pediatric neurosurgeon and things has essentially been lost and replaced for millions of little boys and girls with the despair and hopelessness of the welfare state, and that the country is going in the wrong direction. And I ask your listeners, if they were the top pediatric neurosurgeon sitting on all these corporate boards and having a cushy life in general, would you potentially throw that all away to stand up for America? Because that's what Dr. Carson did. And you are exactly right. There are a bunch of Republicans, including the entire House and Senate GOP leadership, that are the country's going off a cliff, and they're hiding under their desks, scared to death. The House GOP leadership, with ample evidence that the President, the Attorney General, and the former Secretary of State have committed high crimes and misdemeanors, refuse to impeach because they're afraid for their seats, instead of being afraid for their grandchildren and the America that their grandchildren are going to inherit.
Well, you did touch upon the health care issue, and I did want to ask you about that issue. We are running out of time, but I would like to hear you flesh out a little more about Dr. Carson's view on that, what you think about that, because in many ways that is the biggest political and social issue of our time.
Dr. Carson has said that you can deal with a number of the things that the left said they wanted to deal with without wrecking the most effective healthcare delivery system in the world. There's a reason why most of the children who are born to people in Canada are actually born in hospitals across the border in the United States, because they don't have enough beds. They don't have the infrastructure necessary to even bear children in the single payer plan in Canada. So we cannot go down the socialist single payer method that is denying care to seniors and to sick people all over Europe and every place else that it's enacted. There is no Republican Party, there is no party committed to the individual who is sovereign over the state in Europe. The only thing the conservatives do there is that we will reduce the time you need to get a mammogram from 18 months to 17 months. That is their campaign. They do not oppose a welfare state. They say we can manage it better than the left can. So that if we do not repeal Obamacare and rip it out by its roots, there will not be a Republican Party committed to the individual. And further, most of the Republican leadership has already given up. And they believe that the battle for smaller government, constitutional government, is lost. And we need to do what the Tory party does in Great Britain. We can do a better job of managing the welfare state as opposed to opposing the subordination of the individuals to the state. Dr. Carson believes that you need to get people paying for their health care again and through some type of health savings account so that the folks who are currently getting Medicaid, for instance, would be in a health savings account mode and give them an incentive to actually look at the bill and not use have primary care physicians and not use emergency facilities, etc.
Well, Vernon, at this point we are running out of time. We appreciate you taking your time. We know you are very busy rousing the troops for Dr. Carson. So if you could just quickly tell our grassroots people how can they reach you? How can they help the cause?
We only have one sacred obligation, and that is to leave to our children and grandchildren that America at least as free as the one we were born in. And thus far, that is an obligation at which we have utterly failed. If you want to meet that obligation, defeat Hillary Clinton, dismember the left down ballot, restore the republic, heal the nation, and make America America again, then I encourage your listeners to join with me in a great crusade and sign the draft Ben Carson petition and join the effort at www.runbenrun.org.
Well, fantastic. America needs many, many people just like you, because things are going to change, we believe, at the grassroots level, and we are so appreciative of what you and your organization are doing. And so I just want to thank you for spending time with us this morning and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Bobby.
All right. Have a great day.